statements to law enforcement or his statements in court when he was testifying. She indicated very clearly that she basically did not believe him, that she felt that he was covering his tracks from the outset, not knowing that there was a video of the event. And because of his training in law enforcement, he knew what it would take to enact something like this. And from the very beginning, he started to spin the web. But the web had too many holes, and I think the judge saw through it. And this morning, we finally got an order that everyone, at least for the state, and Mrs. Oulson is extremely proud of and happy with. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer whatever you got.
How difficult do you think it's going to be now for them to appeal this ruling because of how specific it is?
I think there are some of the findings here that could lead toward an appeal in the sense that she specifically ruled that it is not a cell phone, that it is clearly his reflection from his shoe that was moving right before the incident. Some things like that, I think, can potentially lead towards an appeal. However, what I don't believe can, what I think really cements this case for getting denied on an appeal, is the fact that she specifically said that her order is based on the physical evidence and the testimony. And as a result of the physical evidence, the testimony, her hearing his statements to law enforcement officer, reading his statements to law enforcement, and witnessing seeing the video and witnessing it firsthand by sitting in that chair, she believes that he is not credible. And as a result, the appeals court would have to determine that it's an abuse of discretion for her to determine that he's not credible. And I don't think any appeals court is going to overturn that portion of it.
Where does this put you for your civil case?
Unfortunately, the civil case basically has to wait for the criminal case to be completed. It is just, as has been happening all along, it's an ongoing criminal investigation until there's a closure of the criminal case. So therefore, there are certain witnesses and certain people that are involved in the civil case that would be unable to testify potentially in the civil case for a deposition or anything like that because there is still the open criminal investigation.
Do you think there's going to be a trial?
I think it's the defense hope that there is not, for multiple reasons. I think they're going to do everything and anything that they can in order to delay that criminal trial, not only because of his age, but because they want memories to fade more. They want to be able to create more gaps and holes so that they can attack the witness's credibility and statements even more than they did during the bond hearing and even more than they did during the stand your ground hearing to try to show inconsistencies to suggest reasonable doubt. I can't imagine they want a trial, but that's where this is headed.
Have you spoken to Nicole today? What sort of motions did she convey?
Hard question to answer. They're all over the place. She, I don't want to share too much, but there were definitely tears of joy there. But at the same time, she knows that this is just another step in a very long process. I mean, she's been dealing with this. We've all been dealing with this, but she's been dealing with this more than anyone else for 3 years. And she knows that while this is a great movement forward for the state and for her and for justice for Chad and for his memory and for their family, she knows that it's just a long line of other things that are continuing to happen. She knows, and we've talked about it, so she's aware that there's a very good chance that the defense will appeal and most likely will. She knows that as a result of that appeal that this is just going to delay this thing. So she knows that there's not going to be closure anytime soon. So while she's happy and relieved by the result, she knows that it A, doesn't mean that he's found guilty, and B, that it's not going to get that guilty finding for quite some time. So it's a relief, but it's still extremely hard on her, I can tell.
How old is Lexi now?
She's 5.